Welcome to Let's Talk Landmark. We're just getting set up here. This is going to be a fun show. We got a lot of really cool stuff. Today's theme is my first build in Landmark. My God, he's already twerking. I can't believe it. He mocks me. We still can't hear him.
And one of these days, I'll press the button.
That's what we're afraid of.
Oh, Timma.
Dyford's here.
Excellent. So first up on so basically everybody, we did the shout out a week ago, asked everyone to tweet to us their first build in Landmark, and we didn't care if it was like the first picture as you got started, or the picture of the finished product, or a couple of pictures, beginning, middle, end, whatever. Anyway, but first up, we've got is the first response I got was from Dyford, and I can't believe this was his first build. I feel wow. My first thing I did is I rubbed two voxels together and didn't get smoke or fire, so But I'm here today with Timma, Devlin, Katina, Phoenix, and you know what? I forgot to put Katina's name on there. That's okay. You all know who she is. Anyway, first up is
I haven't even looked over there. Thank you so much, George.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good job, Gio.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so we're looking at the Seattle Space Needle. Dyford, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
Tell us about, wow. How the heck did you come up with this as a first thing to do in Landmark?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Really, that was like a year and a half ago, dude.
No.
Well, I was just trying to see what I could do with smoothing stuff out and circular designs and all that. I think I partly started doing that because I found a little app that was actually developed for Minecraft that figures out how to do a circle for you. You know, it figures out where to place the blocks on a grid.
I use that too as well. It's the only way I was able to do that giant sphere I did way back when.
Mm-hmm.
How wide is that top there? The circular
It's
bit.
only one claim, and the current one is only the updated version is also just one claim wide.
So when did you start Landmark? Because wow, those of us who started in the alpha, we didn't attempt
Yeah, it
anything
was
like this.
September of last year.
Okay, that is really cool.
Oh, that's
Of course.
way better than I thought.
Yeah, that is really cool. So what were you thinking when you first got into Landmark? What were some of your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was pretty cool. I'd seen Minecraft before, but never really played with it. My son's really into it. I could never get past the 8-bit graphic type stuff in Minecraft, so I never really got into it. I got into this game thanks to Whiteberry, whom I had known from previously playing with her in Lotro, or Lord of the Rings Online. And she had come over here. She had decided to quit that game, come over here. She had been making things like hobbit holes and stuff and kept tweeting out pictures. And one day she offered me a 7-day beta key, so I got in and I was hooked.
That's cool, man. In by Whiteberry.
Yep.
That is awesome. I saw a question. How long did it take you to build this? Was that from Talurker?
Oh, I don't remember, like a couple of weeks probably, at least. There's a lot of things that are very simple with this compared to the updated version. The column with the stairway going up, I don't think it actually had stairs. It was just a square superstructure going up, and everything was very squarish. I hadn't figured out how to smooth things down very well yet.
Oh, that is really impressive.
It's nice to see the early version of it since we've all played the game so often.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I remember putting this up and then started touring around with you guys and was like, oh, well, I gotta step up my game with some of the stuff that we saw.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Guys, any questions for Dyfed on this build?
When you gonna remake it? That's what I want to see. I want to
Remake. You want a Space Needle 3.0? Is that what you want?
Yes.
Because we've got Space Needle 2.0, which is pretty cool.
Well, it's probably something I should do. One of the major things that is different with the actual Space Needle is that it's got 4 legs instead of 3, and that's just because
That's kind of like me.
yeah, the way the building grid is set up, doing a tripod in a with the legs in a circular fashion is going to be rather difficult.
Have you thought about doing any other real life monuments?
Yeah, I've been working on. I stopped for a while. One it's actually not a real life one, but it comes from a movie. The house from North by Northwest that is up on top of Mount Rushmore. It wasn't a real house, but it was made to look like an Android Wright type of house.
Frank Lloyd Wright, you mean?
Frank Lloyd Wright, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
As opposed
Sorry,
to
I was
Andrew
getting
Lloyd
my name.
Webber.
Yeah, I
The
know.
other one would
I
have,
knew
like,
I was getting
castle.
that right.
Andrew Lloyd
No.
Wright.
Well, I think it's really interesting that your first build in Landmark was a landmark.
True.
Yeah.
I can't say the same for myself.
I also thought about doing some other landmarks from Seattle, like
Starbucks.
maybe the Starbucks. Well, I kind of did that with the Daybucks I did for Kinos.
Yeah.
And
The fish market.
the fish market, the gum wall.
Complete with flying fish.
Well, that's cool. Good job, man. Really, really. Thanks for sharing this. And boy, and for
No problem.
hitting me first. I think you were the first response I got within. It was like 60 seconds. So that is awesome. Thank you, Katina. Who is next on that list?
I didn't know I had to keep the list.
Big areas.
Sorry.
Darius. Here we go. Wow. Is
Thank you,
Darius?
Devlin.
Is he here?
Does not look like it.
All right. Well, real quick, Timo, you going to talk about this build a little bit? Just your perspective on this as a first build? And are you able to guess when this was done? It looks like an alpha.
That's pretty amazing for an alpha, honestly. There's a lot of detail to it.
It reminds me of a
See,
gingerbread house. Huh?
The little design work that he has into like around the windows, I can't tell if that's inlay. What is that?
It has to be an inlay. There's no other way to get those curves.
No, that doesn't do it.
That was definitely not an early alpha. It does
No, it wasn't.
because we weren't even doing inlays at that point. Microvoxels, yes, but yeah, not inlays.
Extraordinary build. I saw this, and you know what? Frankly, I wasn't surprised. Now that I see what he did as his first build, all the amazing stuff that we've seen him build since then, it is no wonder. Devlin, Katina, Phoenix, any comments on thoughts on this guy's build?
I still can't build that well.
It's really good for a first time
It
out.
fits-
That's
it
a lot of
fits work.
detail.
Yeah, it fits his work. That's all I can really say. I saw the picture and I was like, yep, that's a Darius build, all right.
That's one thing I've noticed. A lot of people's first builds the amount of detail they try to put into it, whether it was good or not, really is a depiction of what they're building these days.
Hey, now, I ain't gonna say nothing about that.
What?
You haven't seen my first build yet.
Yes, I have. I looked at the picture.
Lousy asked me to zoom. I did, Lousy, because these are embedded tweets. They keep resizing themselves as I zoom in. So.
Okay, I'll rephrase that. Most people's.
Next up is Trelawnist. Is Trey here? Is he in the chat?
He is not. I think he posted he was at a doctor's appointment or something.
Oh, okay, too bad. Wow, this is something. But he's got here. Now he sent me some larger versions of this. Let's see if I can. No, that doesn't. There we go. So these are slightly larger on the screen, but I was really impressed with what he had started working on. This looks like really early alpha as well. Do we know if he was in the alpha in the very beginning?
I'm not sure.
I couldn't tell you, to be perfectly honest. I don't know.
This is one of those builds that I think I managed to stumble on in the world. I didn't know anybody. We're just getting around looking.
Well, he's got a flag up top, so I don't know what kind of pack he bought because I can't see it.
Looks
I'm
like
trying to find. I know. I'm trying to find props or something that we didn't have too early to try to date it.
Yeah, I think this is right at the very beginning. I mean, you look. The only prop he's got in here, he's got the flags, the lamppost, and what the heck is this thing called? The little
Brazier.
fire.
Brazier.
Thing. Yeah.
I think it's pretty early because of the night bloom in the second image, and they took them out of the open world and made them a craftable plant. Because I remember chasing claims based on how many glowy plants there were in the jungle biome.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, actually, he was early enough. It said he was on a tier 2 island at least.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's really cool. I tell you that the game just really amazed me when we first got into this thing. It was fun and easy to build, and I just was so unprepared for the type of things that people were going to build. When I saw my first sculpture, my jaw just hit the ground. I hadn't even thought to build something like that. Any other thoughts or comments, guys?
Now, again, I mean, the only thing I can really say is that looking at these early builds, you can definitely tell that these people were aiming for a specific type of feel, and for the most part, that still is carried on today, like what Katina was talking about earlier.
Now, one thing I can never remember is how many materials did we have when the alpha started?
Maybe 16 at most.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first couple of weeks, yeah, that's all we had.
And
in all honesty, you would almost figure we'd have a lot more now than what we do. At the rate of expansion is what we had in alpha. Because we started getting more and more and more as alpha went along, and all of a sudden it kind of died down and stopped.
Next up is Lousy's. Drag his butt up here.
There you go.
Lousy.
Hey,
Hey,
I
man.
can talk.
You're a
Dude.
real boy.
Tell us about your build. This is cool.
Well, this was my very first claim. I decided in the desert that I wanted to build a snowman in the desert. So it was the very first thing that I built.
And just basically a snowman in the desert was your plan, huh?
Well, I wanted to be near a spire, so that was one of the things. I moved around a lot. and was looking for one right up against the spire. And initially, when I got to this spot, it was a desert spot, and I said, well, the very first thing I wanted to try was the building tools, and this picture was 4 days of me playing, and the first thing I did was built circle tools and made a snowman in the desert. And then I made a little flat square building that I put all of my crafting stations in. And, I put a notice, usable crafting stations, air conditioned in the desert, Then it became a casino later on.
So what we're looking at on the screen, how many days or weeks of building was this?
That was the 4th day of the closed beta. And I started day 1 of the closed beta.
All right.
So
I think I stumbled. I found you during that first couple of weeks, if I do recall.
No, I think you actually came there after I put the Liquid Land sign.
Yeah, that's when I found it. Okay.
Yeah, that was at least after June. May or June. This was April 4th was the date of this picture.
April 4th. That is cool. What was your impressions of the game after you got this far?
Well, I had a bunch of guildies from Star Wars Galaxies who were playing, and so I had already been reading about their adventures in the game, and so when I got in, I wanted to build immediately and started immediately testing out how the tools worked and going and harvesting and chopping down trees and normal lousy stuff. Burled wood, that was a story from Alpha that all of my Star Wars Galaxies friends were talking about. Closed beta, there was no burled wood shortage.
We can't hear you, Ted.
Burled wood. What fun that was. Well, this is cool, man. I'm glad you got pictures of this. A lot of people didn't have pictures of their first build. There's a lot of people, they took pictures, lost them, or forgot to take pictures. And as we found out,
or took a picture 3 weeks after you started, where like mine is 4 days. Like I figured out how to make stairs, I figured out how to make circles, I figured out how to use the select box to make a square building. That was about all I had done at this point.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, Dark Wars put a picture of his first build and a link in the chat. Not to derail, but wow.
Let me see if I can just real quick pull it up.
But that's not that how.
That's his first
4
build
weeks or something.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad. What's cool is you got this thing that is after several. What is it? Where is that link? He just popped in there. Oh my God! Yeah. I mean, after 4 days, dude, it was amazing. This is Dark Wars, everybody. That is dark. That is cool. Jeez. All right. Yeah, man. It's because my build. I don't know. It was after I took pictures of it from like the first day, and it was about like actually my first week was about like this. I took a few pictures, a couple every day. Guys, any comments, guys?
That's really good for a couple of days just into the game. Absolutely.
A couple of days in, all I could figure out how to do was build a platform. That was it. I could do nothing else.
Hey, I didn't build anything in Alpha. I mean, substantial. So we'll get to that later, I guess.
I didn't really build anything. I was more into terraforming and taking what was there and putting a few props down and seeing what I could make out of it.
Those trees are all Arctic tundra trees
Yep.
that are in the desert biome. I put all of those in there too in the first 4 days.
The irony. That's cool, man. Thank you for sharing, Lousy. This is cool.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
My first build wasn't a build. It was more of a statement. First thing I did was the group that I used to be a part of and have kind of lost touch with, which was Sinister Swarm. I did a logo that was a claim wide, basically, and stuck it up on top of the biggest hill that I could find, you know. So,
let me open the file browser from the Morning Brew, and you sent that picture. There it is. Can I show this off?
You need to press the button.
That was the group that I used to be a part of prior to coming to Landmark, because I was playing Final Fantasy 14 just prior to coming here.
Let's see if I can open this sucker up.
Thank you for reminding me I need to cancel my subscription to that because I don't play it anymore.
Oh wow, Tim, this is. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, but that was the first thing I made, and I've got some pictures of the actual buildings that I made, but that was the first thing that I had actually created in the game.
So this is pretty cool. I don't know if everyone can see that or not. Is that coming across the feed? I don't think so.
I don't see it.
I'm just seeing Raz's thing in the channel.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, there.
Yep, that was the first thing that I made.
Oh, that is.
With a couple more legs, you could scare Josh.
That's cool, man.
So your Tenmo's first build was like a big pixel art thing?
Yeah.
Yep. Not bad, dude.
That's cool. Cool stuff. All right, next up, man.
Hello.
We've got. Let's see. This is the Blackfish by Raz.
And we have Raz in TeamSpeak.
Oh, sweet. Drag him in.
He's here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first build. It was when I was in another guild, and we did a guild build where everybody had a little parcel of the small claims that we were allowed. I think it was 3 claims big or something like that at that time. And I built a tavern, and the guild leader built the fish, the blackfish.
Okay.
And she put it on top of my building when I was building it. And then I just came up with the idea of calling the place Blackfish and hung it by its tail on a pole.
It's pretty cool.
This is cool. And what was the time frame? When was this built?
In February. I don't have anything from before closed beta. In January.
Okay. So this is closed beta then?
Yeah, the beginning of closed
Okay,
beta.
that was like the last week of March. No, the last week of March.
Like that.
Last week of March was the beginning of closed beta. Is that right, Tim?
Oh, okay, then that is alpha then.
Oh, okay. All
'Cause
right.
It was in February.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. Did you guys ever see this in game when it was during the alpha?
No, this is my first time seeing it.
I set it up on the island where your G Studio is.
Okay.
It does say Landmark Alpha in the top left corner there.
Oh, it does. I see that. That is cool.
I had the template and set it up on that island. I think it's Sand something on Liberation.
That's cool, dude. Thank you for sharing this with us. Anybody have any questions for him?
The only
No.
problem is some of the props are missing, like the stove that I used as the smokestack.
Are you talking about the
Gold
how do I
Forge.
say it? Yeah, the original Forge looked different than the Forge that we have now.
And we never got that back, did we?
No, we didn't. There's a lot of stuff we haven't got back.
Wow.
Oh, when I set it up, it was missing, and I hadn't got around to putting any of the smoke emitters in it because I'm rebuilding it. I'm going to do a bigger version of it.
Well, that's cool, man. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Yep.
The next build that we have up here, and we're going to try and hurry a little bit because we got a lot more to show, and taking
We're already halfway through.
Is Fugazi's first build, and the screenshots are great. These are like Devlin quality screenshots. Is Fugazi in the channel by chance?
I don't see him.
He got this to me pretty early on. I think it's right toward the top of the presentation here. Did any of you guys see this build in game?
No, and it does say alpha in the screenshot.
That's nuts.
I have some pictures.
That's Fugazi.
I got some pictures of Fugazi's builds from Alpha, because he was like right next to me on the same island on my second build. And because when I was right next to him on that one island, that's where I did the Temple to the Karen King. And nobody ever remembers that. It's so ancient. But the entranceway to the Temple of the Karen King became the head for the Karen Colossus. And it was like right next to Fugazi's build. And I've got pictures of his build after that picture.
This stuff it reminds me of the picture that Sony, that SOE shared of Landmark. There was that wall. It was like the gate of Freeport or something. It looked like a scene from buildings in Freeport, and the style of these buildings reminded me of that. You know what I'm talking about? There was one of the early pictures that came out, which I think was supposed to be Freeport.
That actually looks. I've seen a 3D model picture, and that looks almost exactly like the 3D model picture. That's what it looks like to me.
Oh, I tell you what, this is cool. It's I couldn't even have imagined of building something of that level. And it's got the little tower feature in it. You remember when Dave had been trying to get everybody excited about Player Studio, and he had given the example of build a tower, a castle tower, and then someone wants to build a castle. They buy your tower and use 4 of them in the build, and they put their castle up there. So every time they sell their castle, you sell 4 towers, and everybody was building towers, and it was just nuts. But that is beautiful. And next up, Kylan's. Is Kylan's here?
No.
All right. This is neat. Did you guys ever see this? And he started building this in the beta, I guess.
The lighthouse looks familiar.
I think
It
so.
does.
Just the shape of that lighthouse tower, whatever you want to call it. That I'm pretty sure I've seen.
Now, when did you guys start building on 45s?
I still don't.
It's rare. It's rare for Alpha because it never came out right.
Yeah, and this is a beta shot. It says Landmark Beta in the screenshot. So,
Yep.
anyone know, when did Kylan start?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Well, Kylan, thank you for sharing that image with us. That was pretty cool. And oh man, so here's one from Billionaire, and he built this giant cat sculpture that was just really, really cool. And this is an epic picture that he took.
I remember that.
Yeah, again, this is I consider this one Devlin worthy. It's a really cool shot.
Told you, man. It has nothing to do with me. It's what is actually in the shot.
Well, the composition of the shot. I mean, just perfect angle. And this is some more of the structure that was around that initial thing. Is Villionaire here? Is he in the channel?
He's in chat. He says it's not his first build, but it's his first sculpture.
Okay. All right. You want to drag him into...
He's just in text chat.
Oh, okay. He's not in TeamSpeak. All right.
Or he would have already been here, Gio.
Yeah.
I'm not slacking today.
It's beautiful stuff, though. Really, really. It's cool stuff. I remember, I think I was Devlin, I don't know if it was you and I running around when we stumbled on this thing. Do you remember this from the Morning Brew?
The big cat?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Dude, this was amazing.
The only big cat sculpture I've ever seen is Tenma's whatever Karen thing, the big copper one. That's the only big cat I've ever seen. That's
cool. Well, Villionaire, man, this is really awesome, dude. Really, and it's not in the game anymore. He's not. He doesn't have it placed down. So some of these, the only place you're going to see these is in pictures.
It kind of makes me want to go Thundercats, ho!
Yeah, man. Definitely.
I want to go watch that show. Damn it.
There you go, Gio. Lousy said it was you and him that saw it, not me.
Awesome. All right, that was awesome, dude. I remember that was fun. Next is Squishmas.
And Tema, Villionaire, said that's exactly what it was. That was his take on it.
That's cool.
Awesome! Sorry, I keep forgetting to hit the button.
I know, it's crazy today.
Oh, Tenma.
So Squishmas was telling me that he couldn't find the original pictures of his first build. So this is like version 3 of it, and his spaceship. Think I've seen the spaceship before, but I'm not sure I remember this building. Did this become New Landmark City, the first one, the tall one that went up in Sci-Fi Bay?
No.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that is cool. Let me see if I can get separate pictures here. There's the expanded shot. Oh, that's cool. Of course, we've seen what these guys are building nowadays. I remember the spaceship. These weren't alpha builds, were they? Does anyone know if Squishmas was in the alpha?
I think so, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, cool stuff. Next on we received a lot of stuff. I just got
you did. It's really cool.
Oh, this is funny. He says, I have a tendency to save the parts I like, scrap what I don't, and rebuild from there. Does anybody else do that? I mean, I save even the stuff that I don't like that I made. I save it because I don't know.
I trash stuff I like. So I mean, oh well.
That's kind of what I did during Alpha. I just made little things to see what it could do, and I saved it. So when I started building right at the end of Alpha before we switched to closed beta, everything started getting put together.
Once I put something together up here, once I know how it goes together, it stays here.
Actually, to address something Dyfed said in chat, it actually reminds me of the tower in the Selenitic Age in the original Myst, actually.
Yeah, it does.
That was one of the sequels, but no, it's in the original Myst. Not that I played that recently or anything.
Yeah, we're going to have to dig that game out because we keep making references to it.
They're making a new game, but it's not a Myst game.
So next up is Magvidus's Mushroom House. Dude, I remember this thing.
I remember that. Thinking, how the heck did somebody do that out of something square?
I pretty much, by this time, I'd taken a big pause from building and was just going around to look at all the amazing things I could find, take pictures of them.
I'm wondering if Magnivus was inspired by Voidlust with the big mushroom thing. I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was
And
interested to find
this
out.
was an alpha.
Screenshot says beta.
It was posted on June 25th, 2014, so it would have been beta.
But he could have started back then. Who knows?
I could have sworn that thing came out during the alpha.
Probably did. But that doesn't mean when you take the screenshot.
Mm.
Because I started my stuff in alpha, but put it back down once we hit beta.
And his comment is that I think I still have a template for it. Jeez, man. So I take lots of pictures, guys. When you're in game, lots of screenshots. Document that stuff. That was really cool. Is Ashlyn here?
Ashton was in chat earlier.
Yes, Ashlyn is in chat, but not in TeamSpeak.
Ashlyn, can you get in TeamSpeak? Do you guys remember this thing?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
So this is indeed an alpha shot.
It says it right on it.
Yeah.
He was on a Liberation Apothecary.
What was it like for you guys to be in alpha and see things like this coming out of squares?
Well, it was the simple fact that when I started, I was shocked that you were able to smooth things down like that. I mean, that right there was revolutionary in itself. You know, oh my God, I can smooth down a square. Oh,
Hey, Ash.
I don't think I used my smooth tool for the first 2 weeks of the game.
Hey, gang.
You know, this is really early in alpha, because if you look at the server name, it says Apothecary Liberation Vent, Tier 3. That is real early in alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ashlyn,
I
yeah,
was
tell
known as
us.
Apothecary as my first name. Then I had to change it.
Yeah.
Now, why'd you have
Came
to
from a
change it?
PlanetSide 2 guild that was my name in my PlanetSide 2 guild. So
Yeah, but you changed it as soon as we hit close, right?
yeah, they just offered a name change, and I didn't. I changed to a girl character, and I figured Ashlyn fit. So
Got it.
I like the apothecary. I mean,
Pretty cool.
Your ship, this thing was epic. I mean, I remember this thing. It was first time I saw pictures of this. Wow, that was something. I couldn't believe this was done on the alpha. So
now
what? Okay.
This wasn't my actual first build. First build was like a skull cave, but I never got any pictures of it. Second build was the lake house, which is kind of featured in these pictures I gave you.
I think I have pictures of your skull cave. I have to search.
But it was pretty basic skull cage, so.
Why a Viking ship?
Because Vikings are awesome.
They
That was
are
pretty much it. I think we had just gotten table props or something, and I'm like, I want to use those as shields, and then the Viking ship kind of came out of that. Also, I did a school project with my daughter, I think right when that happened, that was about parts of a Viking ship, so I was kind of inspired.
Well, dude, I got to say, you inspired. Speaking of inspired, you inspired a crap ton of us. Seriously, Fairwolf it was his incentive to him. It was, dude. I saw this and I was like, I gotta build ships. Now, how long did it take you to make this Viking ship?
Let's see. I put it together block by block, in rows, and then smoothed it out, and I don't know. It took about maybe a week or two, I think, to put most of the body together.
I believe it.
And you can see we didn't have rope. You see the ropes going from the mast down to the tail, and yeah, that's all just voxels.
That's voxels. Yeah, and they would always come out, instead of being a straight line, it was a zigzag shape. We couldn't make the the shaping. I remember that because I wanted to try to get that thing like perfectly like straight, and it would always come out like a little zigzag.
That's why we didn't build on diagonals back in Alpha.
Yeah.
So I love seeing these kind of things. Is this in the game right now?
I have a template of it, I think, still. But
Look,
it's not in the game now.
well, if you don't mind sharing it, I'd love to put this in the fleet tour. Your call, but that is just beautiful. I'd love to see it back in the game, regardless, because that is just amazing. You know what we need, Devlin? We need Alpha Island.
Why? I don't.
An island.
No, I wasn't in Alpha, dude.
An island for all. Well, but you're the island guy. We need an island for all the Alpha builds. You know.
That could be
Yeah,
interesting.
but I mean, the thing with that is that people are already talking about trying to redo the Dark Elf builds because of how much we've all learned since then. I feel the same thing would happen with the Alpha stuff. Kind of like how I redid my first build, but it's not really my first build, so...
Oh yeah, I think if they ever get a window of time where they've got some extra time to do something, it'd be fun to be able to send someone over there at daybreak. Your alpha build, one of whatever your favorite alpha build was. Each of us get to send one, and then they go place them on an island. So there's no tweaking or none of that. It's if the template's not made before the end of alpha, it doesn't go on. That'd be fun. I just see this and it just amazes me. Ashland, dude, thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
That's definitely a blast for the past for me.
Yeah, it is.
Freaking awesome.
Came across that just running one day.
Next up is Ogre Snot's Worms. Oh my god. The Worm Arena.
His building hasn't changed.
Jeez. I mean, look at that. Is that nuts? Oh, jeez. Is Ogre here?
No.
Okay. I have to let one of you guys have to comment on this.
He's built now like he did then. I have nothing else to say. I think anybody that knows Ogre can see that. Grand scale.
Everybody has a distinctive feel to their builds. You can look at a build and pretty much guess who has done it.
Yeah.
And with Ogre, you can see his builds literally a mile away.
Yes, you can.
You really can.
Yeah, I was noticing that last night when I was building on Halloween Island. I looked to the left and there's this huge thing, and I'm like, yep, that's Ogre's.
That's awesome.
Jeez, that is just nuts. Ogre, thank you for sending that in. Do you like my square house in the middle? Ugh. Oh, here we go. And he sent me a direct message too. He said, the Worm Arena pig was my first finish. This is where I met my first landmark homie, Portivar.
Cool.
This is from Loved Madly. Now, I saw this, and my first thought was, you didn't see very much of these particular shapes. She's basically, it's conical and circular, cylindrical. It's circle cylinders existed. This is before they existed. Did it because she could.
The cut tool or the line tool could smooth out. Or we discovered that it could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the make your circle, stack it up, smooth it, take the center, stack it up, smooth it. And then when it hits the bottom, it still pixelates. God, I remember that, hating that.
Is she still here?
I don't know.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
she's not.
Okay. Wow. The response was overwhelming. I mean, we got far more stuff than I could have dreamt to receive. And we won't be able to show it all off in the show today, but we'll get as much as we can. Now, Aliana is one of those few builders who had trouble finding the original screenies of the stuff that he did. But here are some of his screenshots. I remember the first time we stumbled onto one of his works. It was that house. What the heck was that thing called?
You got to remember that when we had the alpha client, it was in a different folder than the beta client. And
Screenshots.
it also saves screenshots to a different location. There's basically two places you can look. It's either in the your My Documents or the actual folder.
Oh my God, he's still awake. He's in the channel. Is he in TeamSpeak? Get his butt in here.
No, he's not.
Dude, is he? He probably fell asleep on his couch. Spider, if you're out there, remove his drool cup and kick him in the butt.
And he said he built this on 3 claims, so this is well into closed beta.
Wow. Cool stuff, though. Claim build. And we, of course, have seen just tons of amazing stuff from him. This one had what a great story. Feralwolf. Feralwolf's here. He was here. Yes. Feralwolf.
I remember this.
Can you get in TeamSpeak? Can you drop our TeamSpeak in the channel in case someone needs it?
There you go.
If you can get into the channel here, man, we got to hear your story about this bus. Anybody remember this from the alpha?
Oh, yeah.
I remember whenever it was submitted as a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys all freaking out that it was an alpha build, but...
Mm-hmm. It was a freaking amazing alpha build at the time. We're all like, what?
Oh, he can't come in. Well, his story was really funny. There was a period of time, and I guarantee you Tinman probably can speak to this better than I can, when people would trash other people's builds. You know, in the forums and stuff. You know, they'd go look at a build like something I built, and they would just be mocking it or talking about the garbage builds that were out there in the world that just they need to remove that because they're not doing
it was
anything
a
with that
crap
money.
shack.
And then that inspired Reese Holland to do his Crap Shack series, Castles and Crap Shacks. Wasn't that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
You were saying the dead body in that cavern today was Nero. I ran into Nero the other day in a different game, and he was like, "Is that Tuva from Landmark?" And I'm like, "One and only."
It's so funny though to run into him in another video game, alpha testing too. That's cool. This was amazing. So, Fairwolf saw that kind of stuff going around in the forums, and he just just to be sarcastic, he built a wreck, garbage basically, and placed it down in the world and was like, oh, I mean, can you just be more epic with, you know, a piece of junk? It was just, and here's a picture, and then I got it. There it is, right here. And he's got a link to a video. You can see more. It was Forgotten Knowledge. It can be seen here. There's his link at the 2-minute, 40-second mark. He built this when we only had 1 claim each. And if any of the alphas remember, it was when everyone was complaining that the claims were all full of junk or garbage builds. My build was done in a form of sarcastic protest. I used a buddy key, placed a claim at the time that had no author or owner of info attached, and then made a junked bus and placed it in the world to be discovered. Love that kind of stuff. And you were one of the first people to be... He was placing stuff in the world, just like shipwrecks. Remember when we first got water? I mean, it was, at first you could just walk on top of it. You couldn't get down underneath unless you were really clever. And you go down there, and sure enough, there's a shipwreck. He had a shipwreck down there in Wolfhead Bay.
That was the most awesome place to go farming for materials because there was nothing down there.
Yep.
Great job, Farrell.
Plus, you got sand while you were doing it.
Yeah. Next is Caledorian. This is his. Is he here by chance?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Again, thank you to everybody for sending in your pictures. This is cool. So here's a couple of pics of his first building at the start of closed beta phase 1. There it is. Let me see if I can zoom into these. It's pretty cool. It is way more intense than anything I built. And then there's the boards. And I guess is this where he started his first swap?
Yes. Yeah, he said this was him gathering stuff for his first swap.
Ah, seriously cool. Next, oh, here's some more pictures. Okay. This right here looks familiar.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of swaps back in those days, and I'm talking about more than just Lady Kathleen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those seem to be the big events that people were doing when they were streaming.
Well, that was back in the early days when Landmark was still kind of new and you guys were all still trying to figure things out. When somebody would figure something out, how to do something really easily, like make a circle and nice and clean, people would throw it up on a swamp so that everybody could enjoy.
I remember Chip GM. You remember him?
Yep.
I haven't seen him in a while, but he was always doing swaps. It's fun.
He would do a swap every single Friday, and I had a swap for a little while there, and but it kind of passed it off to Chip, and I stopped doing it.
I love Chip's Twitter profile pic. Well, at one time he had a pic of him and Mr. T.
Oh, jeez.
It was Chip's a big dude. Portivar. Is he here? I don't see him.
No.
So these are cool. Now this looks like classic alpha stuff. I wonder what it is. Let's find out. I'll zoom into the picture here.
Yeah, this is definitely classic alpha. It's awesome.
We saw a lot of houses like that. We saw a lot of houses like that.
Absolutely. And his is unique because it's kind of got the rounded handrails going up staircase.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to find that guy, whoever that guy is, that made the hand that was like this coming out of the ground, covered in moss and like dangling off of the hand was moss. I mean, it was about as alpha as you could get, but it was ingenious for the time.
It was.
It's one of the cavern ruins.
No, not that one.
No,
Not that one. There was one before that.
He's not talking about the Hand of Brog.
No,
Right.
That one was way later. This one was like this.
Yeah, I remember that thing.
I remember that coming straight out of the ground.
Yeah, that's all it was. It was just from like the wrist up, and that was it. There was nothing in his hand, nothing. It was like painted with the mossy color at the top, and then the stone underneath of it with like little pieces hanging off of it. It looked like moss coming off of it, but it was ingenious. And I was like, holy crap, that is awesome. And that right there really set it in stone for me for the game, period.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we got a comment here from him too. It says, it was the first week of beta and I'd gotten a spot. Okay. A spot near the spire, decided to make a public crafting area. Wait, did I skip over something? Wait,
No, that's right.
Remember looking at tutorials.
I'll tell you something else that really solidified this game for me was Spider Kite.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Don't tell me you don't know who Spider Kite is.
Spider Kite. No, I don't remember Spider Kite.
He was the original Colossus maker.
Oh, wow.
He made the Dark Elf Colossus. He made
dude, I remember those.
Where like half their face was like rotted off. She was like holding the globe.
Yeah,
come
I
on.
remember that. There was something. Here's
one of the.
Here's a build by Makaya. And look at this thing. That is so cool. Look at that little house. That is. Now, Kat, are you able? To, is that alpha or is that?
It's been cropped.
Been cropped. Okay.
So I just enlarged it to see.
Makaya's not here, is she?
No.
Too bad.
It's late where she is.
Yeah. But that is beautiful. Golly, I see stuff like that, and I just didn't think in those terms. This and Fugazi's and a bunch of these others. Wow, really cute. Oh, and then she sent me this too. Did you guys ever see this in game?
No, I didn't know Makaya back then. That's not too early because she says it's a world map on a 3x2 claim.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 5 claims is too old. That's really cool.
Cool stuff. Next up is Peter Marinus. I love this. I mean, clearly alpha textures. This is taken during the beta, obviously, but I love this stuff. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, that's a typical alpha type build.
Yeah, and you
love
see, yep, his wall. It's like the Great Wall of China. It's cool. Peter's not here, is he?
No.
Who knows Faz?
I've known Peter for like forever.
Oh, so this was this a collage? No, two different pictures. Okay, let me see if I can. Whoa. So it's kind of hard to see on the screen. Can I enlarge that? Yeah, a little bit. Oh. Yeah, it's as good as it's going to get. These are neat. So this is his first build with Thrift. This is really cool. I can't really enlarge that without zipping off the screen. We've seen a lot of cool stuff from Faz. Remember his steampunk works with the giant bird? That steampunk looking bird in the front yard and the sawmill?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And then didn't he also build the rock pipe organ? Wasn't that like for the ruins?
I know that there was one. I don't know who built it though.
Yeah, it was. I know it was right next to his steampunk claim. Yeah, definitely not enough steampunk stuff in the game. Those are cool. And this is at the start. Wow, so he did this during alpha. That is something. Jeez. And Pirate, is Pirate here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I was stunned to find out that this was his first build in the game.
He says he's been here since the beginning, so there's got to be something from Alpha. He may not have pictures.
Yeah, that was no.
No, because we were touring this as one of his new builds at New Year's Eve, Dave's New Year's Eve party.
Yep. And you see the items that are in there? Cross
the
brace
sci-fi
sci-fi
props.
piece? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No.
And I know he was here long before that.
Too bad he's not here to tell us his story. That would be really cool. This is an amazing build, though. Mwatok. Is he here? That rascal.
Sir?
Huh? No.
Nope.
So this is in the beta, but I love it. I mean, you get in the game, you think, what the hell am I going to build? Builds a freaking teepee.
I kind of remember that.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is something. Tim, go ahead.
I just imagine if that was as good as it was ever going to get.
It makes you think, right?
I'd be very sad if that was as good as it could get.
Yeah, but we had like just.
I mean,
an
I'm not knocking it for what it
extraordinary-
is, because it's great for what it was back then. It was. It
Mhm.
really is. But imagine that as like the gold standard.
We had like so much fun, even at that level. You know.
Completely, man. So, Tim, I mean, tell us, how do you think he built this? What were his steps? Because this is cool. I couldn't have figured this out.
He probably hand placed every single voxel and then went back, selected the whole thing, and smoothed it.
Yeah,
like
and
hand placed voxels, not like what we do today. You know, where it's like, oh, you know, get a frontalist or
It looks
set.
like 2 or 3 layers of one, and then inside 2 or 3 layers of another, just in one, and then again, and then in one, and then the whole thing rounded out.
Yeah, like you put different stacks of circles on it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like a cake.
Yep.
I love this. I love this build because he's just experimenting, doing crazy. I mean, you've seen the stuff this guy makes. It's like it's as crazy as Bob Dobbs. The shapes and everything. It's wow. So he just excited, exploring the engine, just testing how things work.
Well, that's one thing that discussions I had with Dave in game a while ago was how he was commenting about how people had stopped, in his perception, had stopped experimenting and learning new techniques. They would just go to somebody's swap or claim or grab a template and just plop something down rather than trying to explore the limits of what the engine could do. So you'd notice that after the first wave of people breaking things and realizing, oh, they can do this, that, and the other, and they stopped thinking and just started copying. So yeah, it is what it is.
This is Demeta X's first build, I think. Yep, Mechasonic.
Yeah, he was just not too long ago, I don't believe.
The Pinnet logo is covering up whether this is an alpha build or whatever.
It's beta.
It's beta, okay. But I love it. That's a what is that? Dylan, you recognize that?
It's a mech, I think.
Is it from Star Wars?
No, actually, you're right. It looks like one of the new TIE fighters from the expanded universe.
That was the first build, and he did it at our community build. That was his first build. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He's a newer player.
That is so cool.
And now he's doing like a freaking awesome freaking build for the Halas competition.
I've got the answer. The TIE Defender from the X-Wing. Okay.
Cool.
I knew
Thanks,
I see
dude.
it somewhere.
This is from Angel's Heart. I love this chessboard. Really, this thing is really cool.
That is a classic. I remember that, and it is a classic.
Didn't the huge half an island build, like the Lethality group, have this in their City of Doom? I just looking through my screenshots.
Did.
I have screenshots of that city.
Yes, we did.
That was so epic. I didn't know any of you guys back then. I was busy with so much other stuff. Wow. But this is really, really something. Now, anyone know, is this in the game right now?
I've not seen it.
You sure it's this one?
I tell you,
because they said they built this in September 2014. That was just last September. I think the one you're talking about was older than that.
Oh, yeah, it might have been. That was an amazing build. Didn't they turn this into a ruin for Team Up?
I don't
know. Or am I thinking of a different build? And we have one that's like this that was in the Landmarks of Landmark, didn't we? Crazy. Next up
I don't know.
is Knobwinkle. This is something.
Look at that lighting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is amazeballs.
That is so cool. I mean, I think I've got a picture of mine in here further down. I'm so impressed with the things that people were thinking of, what they envisioned or what they were willing to experiment with, the risks they were willing to take. It's not that I wasn't willing to take risks. It's I didn't even think of it. This is cool. For me, I don't know. I don't know what it was for you guys, but for me, what sucked me into the game so much was that it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and and everything you saw was just created by the players. Just that combination is what's brought me in and kept me here.
Well, in my when I was playing, I don't have really a lot of screenshots of what I was monkeying around with. You see my first completed build, but one thing that always struck me is the beauty of the actual game itself. Landmark has the best atmospherics of any game I play, with possibly the exception of Lord of the Rings Online. And it's just, I have screenshot after screenshot of sunset, moonrise, a cactus giving the moon the finger. But yeah, I'll hit that screen because I parked one of my first claims that you'll see a picture of later, in a place where I could watch the sunset. And hitting the water once we got to, the ocean water is like, oh my god, the colors are amazing, and the screenshots do not do it justice at all.
It means a lot to me that you're here because you play more games, I think, than any of us. Because you're constantly playing all these new games because you write about these things.
Not new games. I keep playing the same old games.
But to hear that Landmark has got some of the best environmentals you've ever seen, kind of confirms, I think, what we all feel as well. Is that for me, it's the most beautiful game I've ever tried. Devlin. So tell us your backstory, man. We were talking about this, but this is not your first build, but this is your first community build.
The Nightlife Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed it was. I remember whenever I had first found you, you were talking about getting a second evening show started up and calling it Nightlife. And you had convinced me to give it a shot and give it a try, and that idea eventually turned into, well, why don't we have an actual building called that? And then that kind of started the whole idea of a very long-term community project that a lot of different people in Landmark took part of. Dozens of people worked on that thing, and it started off just as a simple one-story little box building that was going to be just a simple little dance club, and it turned into a skyscraper, and it's still going through revisions even right now. Yeah,
you're going through a third re-envisioning of it? What you're planning right now?
Yes, Pantera and I think, are going to be working on this, the newest version, and hopefully the last version of the club after Halloween.
Wow.
Is that your hard stop beeper thingy?
I told my son, I warned him when I dropped him off at school after the dentist. I said, all right, we're going to be doing a long show today. It's he's this epic black belt. So I said, you're in charge of making sure you and your sister get back home without you guys hurting anybody. So we can't hear you, Kat.
They're walking home from the bus?
Yeah.
Good. Keep going. Running out of time anyways.
Well, so this really inspires me to get to one particular point that I think of with all these amazing builds that I see is something starts off as an idea and you pursue it, and then it takes on a life of its own, and your original idea, your original thing that you did, just evolves and evolves and evolves, and it just keeps morphing. Any examples in game you guys can think of that are like that?
I think every build is like that to a certain degree or another.
Any specific builds you guys can think of? I got one in my head. I just want to see if you guys...
Spit it out, yeah.
Kylan's? UGC?
Oh, God. Yes.
I mean, that thing just keeps evolving and evolving. I mean, he works on that same concept and just keeps adding more to it. And it's amazing to be doing it, to see something that started as a little idea and just keeps evolving, and they keep working on the same project. And it's like the Nightlife Club. This thing is freaking amazing. When I first thing that Devlin shared with me was a photograph of that building in Dubai. He says, I want to do this. And I saw that building. I was like, wow, man. I thought, that is epically cool. It's so enormous. How are you going to do that in Landmark? And this was the result. The screenshot you got here is the first iteration?
No. This is the last iteration, the one that was just up in game.
Okay. And then the one you and Pantera have planned for the next evolution of this thing, he's got a little model of it right next to it.
Well, he did.
He built one for Metallical's little city thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. He built, Pantera built the miniature for New Landmark City.
And so your next envisioning of this is going to be based on that, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. It's cool. You got to go see it. It's different in so many ways, but still, when at first glance, it looks They look like the same
Well,
building.
if you want to go see it, you're too late now. Sorry, guys.
Oh, already took it down. Oh, to do all your stuff. Well, I'm glad we got it here then.
It already took it down. Sorry, it's been up for months.
Well, and we showed it off on
by the lip. I don't care.
we showed it off on the show, so everyone got to see it again. This one by Marielle. Do you guys remember this in the alpha?
I'll let you know when I see it.
All right.
Dark Wars just posted a picture in Twitch chat of a beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the actual image is beautiful, but just the framing. Oh my God, that is some awesome in-game photography there, my friend.
Wow. I'll show that off in just a moment. So this building just evolved and evolved. This is another one of the scenarios where her original idea just kept growing and expanding, and we've been to it several times. I think this is one of the places where you did the nightlife, kicked off a nightlife episode. Wow, it's amazing what it started out as this little concept, and then she just kept adding to it and refining it, swapping out materials. Really, really something. But it started like this. She's not here, is she? Well, thanks to everybody that sent me pictures of your first builds. Valedorian. This is E Flatten. Love this build. So here's someone who's got a love for contemporary modern architecture, much like Devlin.
I love his work.
So after we do, as soon as the competition wraps up, the Hollis competition, we're going to, Devlin, myself, Eladorian, and we'll get anybody else who's really got a passion for the contemporary building, going to go and tour in game all the contemporary builds that we have, because they are amazing. And he's not in chat, is he, by chance?
No.
Well, this is an extraordinary. They've been working on this and doing updates. This is just, once again, it's evolved, and he's doing this as I don't know. It's like he's got a small community working on this. Is what it seems like. Old Timers Guild, if I'm not mistaken. And then here's Karane's. This is so cool. Now, how did you find the pictures, Kat?
They're actually on my laptop, so I had to yank them off of there. I took pictures. I took these pictures, not Car. Because all throughout Alpha, I worked at her house. I didn't have a claim through Alpha. Like I said, I just took bits and pieces and saw how they worked together. And this is one claim. That's how really this was in Alpha. That's all we had was one claim.
Man. It's just so cool.
I built that deck first, and it sat there for like 10 days, and I just looked at that hill. I was so scared to start cutting into it. I didn't know what I was going to do to it. Oh,
She whined and whined and whined.
I did.
She was afraid the heel tool wasn't going to work. Put it back.
This is so cool.
But my Oakland concept houses just seem to have never gone away.
Yeah, I love. I mean, the great house that you've got now is just really something. But I assume this was the predecessor to it, right?
This is the very first house when we just had one claim. Yeah.
Man, that is just awesome.
This was a couple of weeks into Alpha.
Yep.
I think here's another shot. I mean, I love this. So, this is just so cool. We didn't have glass back then, right?
No, this was right. The microvoxel was like being played with even smaller, and I had that big open space. The kitchen's right behind where I was standing, and I built the first greenhouse.
Wow.
And it's still on the swap. Still see it floating around.
Oh, that is so cool.
I remember watching her place each and every one of those little cube microvoxels to make this. There was no copy paste of larger sections. It was one tiny little cube at a time.
That is really something. I mean, these look like 45s.
Yeah.
It is. And see the little diagonal arrow thingies on them.
Next up here, this is Druids. That is really cool. What were you doing here? This is really something. I mean, goes way beyond anything I ever did in the game.
This was for the Caverns Ruins competition. And behind it you can kind of see what was originally going to be my first Halloween build, and that didn't happen, but that's okay. I just wanted to build a little tower with an orrery in it, thinking of a people that had perhaps lived on the ocean, not on the ocean, but on the surface. Big difference. And you know, their island or whatever sunk below and got covered up over the years. But I was kind of inspired by the Dark Crystal and the orrery in that, and I had a lot of fun trying to work out the diagonals, the shapes, you know, trying to make it look like it actually was a mechanical device. And then somebody else was building an orrery that looked a hell of a lot better, and I'm like, oh, screw this. But I still went and worked on mine, because I learned a lot when I was building it, and so I think that was most important. So it didn't win, but it accidentally got flagged for winning, and I got a most interesting call from Daybreak PR while I was at work, because they knew me because of SOE Live, so it's like they called me instead of sending me an email, and I was like, why are you telling me? I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'd be like, look, you already told me I'm a winner. You suck it up, bud. Suck it up.
Yeah.
That would have been me. Oh yeah.
Oh, seriously, if you look at this really, it wasn't. If you look at some of the stuff that actually won the Caverns competition and actually in the cavern, this doesn't really fit that whole notion. I mean, it's nice, but I should go back and redo it again.
Yeah, that's really pretty cool. Because then there's a walkway here. Who moved there to us? Wasn't nice.
Dude, in the Dare channel. Nice.
What's
Poor
that?
Geo.
Your phone went off, so I moved you out of the channel.
Jeez. And unlock the
Put
door.
Geo in a timeout.
And unlock the door for the kids. Oh, man. Phoenix, this is really cool.
That's good. Make them walk home and don't let them in. Gotta love it.
That's where I was learning how to make circles, actually, with that build.
Now, these are some other pictures you sent me as well.
Oh yeah, this is actually the island I was talking about the sunsets on. I found this like peninsula off the south shore of this island, and I'm like, screw this, I'm just gonna take this, hollow it out underneath, and make an island grotto, because I was a bit jealous of the one that Dave had in his basement of a casino, so I'm like, I can build that. And the answer to that question was no, I couldn't, but I was like, I did my own thing, it was fun. This is the one that I wish I had kept the templates for, simply because back in the day I was running out of space, and we didn't have pace with interior air, and it was a pain in the ass, so I'm like, the hell with this.
It's really cool, though. I love these pictures. And that sunset.
Oh my god, that sunset. I miss that sunset.
I call it, I've always called it magic hour. Because that's what it was to me. It was that special moment, you know.
It was a casino, Tau Lurker. It was a casino.
I put a link in the chat, Gio. Look at it later before you close it out. It's my desktop. It's at Twilight.
Oh, cool. So, this is from Fedorov. And holy smokes. He built this during the alpha, is my understanding.
That's what he says.
Just, holy smokes, wow. I love this right here, and this, and then the inset, the inlay. Really cool stuff. Those are beautiful pics. Really, the game is just really beautiful. It's just something special. He said those screenshots were taken April 2014. The claim was on Underdog. So this is in the first week of the second week of the closed beta. The claim was on Understanding Ridge, just south of the spires on a big mountain. As usual with my builds, I had a doodle on a scrap of paper and a picture in my brain. Back then, I was working week on, week off, away from home, and would lose my claim every second week due to the 7-day timer. Nightmare.
That was horrible.
God, I forgot.
It was hard.
Blocked that out of my memory. That was, oh man, that just enraged so many people.
Oh,
Federer, great job, man. Huh?
If they reinstated the 7-day claim thing right now, you'd probably lose about 98% of the claims on the game.
And probably the rest of the players, they'd be pissed.
Yep.
This is from 1,000 Stars.
They would end up reducing all the islands down to 1.
Yeah. This is cool. This was a crafting station that he made for other players to come by and make stuff, because that was kind of a big thing way back then, because you had to go through the progression to get all your crafting stations and all your stuff, right?
Yeah, not everybody had a crane. Crane and Trev.
And this is really cool stuff.
Really
first building a public crafting station ended up like this. That is just awesome. And then here's Katina's first build.
Like I said, the thing is, I started out, like I said, just building bits and pieces to see how they worked. And if you look at it, it's just a lot of straight lines. There's not a lot going on. It's just like huge.
But with Greek House, that worse. That was totally their style.
I was at the top of a mountain, and off to the right, the picture that you were just showing of the gardens, it was waiting for the water. Logged in the next day, and boom, there was water. It was amazing. In the gardens, I credit where credit's due. Crane put in the garden.
You can do a lot with just basic stuff. Don't ever. I hate it when people do that. It's just a whole bunch of straight lines. So what?
No, I'm saying for what it was back then, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of detailing on it. No layering and stuff because it looked like mush. So I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And way back then, I mean, people getting a lot of plants. There were a lot of plants. The only way you can get them was to claim a piece of land that they were on. Mm-hmm. And then would you have to template them or what?
Corinne did most of it. I don't even remember how.
It's amazing.
That's why she did my gardens, because she had all the stuff.
So, here's my first build. Literally my first week in the game. These two pictures are from my first week. This one's from week 3, and then this is I think the last week of the alpha. I changed location, so I picked up my whole building and put it back down, and it was fun. Let's see if I can.
Okay, question. How did you feel the first time you pulled down a building? Were you afraid it was going to go poof?
Yeah, I thought for sure I was going to lose the whole thing.
The first time I pulled down a building, it did go poof for me.
Oh.
That happened to me a lot.
Yeah, there were templating errors back in the day.
Yep. That's what happened to half of the Greek house. The template disappeared.
We don't have that problem too much anymore. It's very, very rare now.
Yeah. Trying to size this, but having trouble. Anyway, it was fun stuff. Here's where I was trying to fix a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't like the way it had come together. So I was just doing repairs, and that beautiful blue sky. Once again, the environmentals were so cool. And then remember when we got the jungle biome?
No, the jungle biome was the starter biome.
Listen, I don't know why I wound up moving here, but I moved here. I know why. It was
growth was later.
Finally, some space close to the spires opened up, because I was on a ridgetop way across the end of an island. But that was the whole thing. Put a new base on it, and it's in the game today as it's in the game today as well, it's not in, but I've got the templates for, and it looks completely different. Remember when we're running around there at the ship next to it in the pool? And it was fun. But this one right here, guys, this is from Fierce, Voxel Vision. And he said this is his one and only alpha build in the game. And it was the only thing he wanted to build when he first heard of Landmark. I mean,
He
look
had
at
it
that.
down in beta for a while because it was just north of my mini Sandy Grotto claim that's like north of Dave's Mech of Doom.
Yeah, Domino's Beach House and Dave's Casino, both from the side view, looked onto this thing. It was just amazing. But
Yeah.
I'm stunned that he built this thing in the alpha. Every time he says that, it's hard for me to internalize. But then I see this picture. I mean, it's got alpha on it, right? Up there in the corner. That is just something. Just truly amazing. It's just incredible.
I would love to see him redo that and bring it up to, the tool set that we have now.
Yes, I vote for that as well.
Oh, he's here in chat. Is he? Can he get in TeamSpeak?
He's probably at work.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Well, this is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. So my kids are home, and I have to go soon.
In my interview with Terry back in June, because this was still in game, close to my one claim. I'm like, I'll take a picture of that. Sure, why not?
There's always been some parts of this he kind of wants to redo, but he doesn't. Thank you. I'm so glad. No, don't. Man, this thing, it's perfect
plop
like
it down
it is.
and then start working on it. So
I
keep the
wouldn't.
original, but just kind of futz with the
Hey.
update.
Holy crap, Gabrielle's in channel.
Yeah, I know, man.
He's been back a couple of times.
That is just fierce. That is just beautiful, man. Thank you for sharing. This is something from Shimmy. This little bit right here. This is a build she did in alpha right there. Not the stuff behind it, but this, and it's really cool. Look at her comment here. When I discovered the smooth tool, building her first day in the game. All right, I didn't discover the smooth tool for like 2 weeks, or I think I was just afraid to use it. But that's cool. It's cute, and
Well,
that's the first thing. Is she here?
No.
Oh yes, Shimmy TV.
There she is. I can't read. Sorry.
Is she in? Can she come into TeamSpeak?
She's in here a lot. I don't see her though.
Well, Shimmy, this is really cool. It looks like an Adobe, an Adobe house.
It does. She put it back down to take the screenshot. It looks like that's cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, and again, a lot of people didn't take screenshots or don't know where they are, where they went off to. And here is one. This is from Australia Gal. She sent me this today. Is she in the channel? No. Okay. This is a really cool building. I love this thing. Look at the arrow slits in the walls here, in the towers. And this is in the beta, so I'm not sure exactly when she started. But anyway, guys,
read in the picture, but it's all square stuff mostly.
Except for the towers, yeah, this is really awesome. Well, folks, the document that we are showing off here is actually on our website at landmarkexplorer.com. Just go to the homepage, you'll see it. It's the most recent post that's up there, and we're going to be adding to this all the my first build things you guys send me on Twitter. We'll go into this list. We got some more. I didn't have time to get them into the show because I got them today during the morning brew, so I just didn't have time to add them. But thank you to everybody who submitted stuff. Very much appreciated.
Nice bunny ears, Gio.
Yeah. Hey, you. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
been great seeing all these old builds.
So, Timma, do we have episode 60 planned for this Wednesday?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Do you already have a theme that you want to share, or are we going to keep it surprise till the show?
It's a surprise.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of you.
Well, and thank you to Timma, Devlin, Katina, Phoenix for joining us here today on the show. It was a lot of fun. And everybody who came on in TeamSpeak.
Thank you for having us all.
Yeah. Be good, everybody.
Take care, folks.
We'll see you soon.
See you guys. Go build something.
Yes, Mom.